surveyed a bunch of salespeople in a bunch of different industries, but unlike most surveys, they also interviewed the clients. And they found that there was one differentiating factor between the people who sold consistently and the people who did not. And they found that out by interviewing the customers who didn't buy. And the most common reason that people didn't buy, I know what you're thinking, price, because that's what we feel. But that was not it. It wasn't even top 3. The most common reason that people did not buy from a salesperson was because they were not asked. And when asked if they would have bought if they were asked, the people said, maybe. The challenge was they didn't understand the process of becoming an owner of the product. So what's delivery time? What are payment options? If someone had said, will you take it right now? They may have asked these questions, but because they didn't get that opportunity, because like me early on, and like most young salespeople, when I say young, I just mean newer to the sales industry, or you could be doing it for a long time, but just repeating your first year over and over and over, which still makes you new to the selling industry. Like most people, they push the options forward or the option forward, and then they grit their teeth and they squeeze their eyelids and they say a quick prayer. Please, God, let them beg me for the product or service, right? And they don't actually say, do you want one, or some version of that, right? So what I did when I was selling myself was I was that person to the 50th degree. Like I had to make it as easy as humanly possible because I was shy and nervous and struggled to ask someone to buy. And thankfully a mentor pointed this out for me, that I didn't ask people to buy. So here's what I did, and you're welcome to use my question. You're welcome to make your own. Mine is simple, easy, and soft enough that even you can do it. So I would push the options forward, and I would ask them which one they like, which one they lean toward. And when they told me, I would just say, you know, I happen to have this stuff out in the truck right now. I happen to have this stuff at the warehouse. I can see if it can get dropped off right now. I bet I have your system back up and running by 3:30. Does that sound good? And I would just smile a little bit, raise my eyebrows, and nod. And what was funny was even people who said no, because you're going to get people who say no, obviously, would be nodding and crack a smile with me. And they go, and you almost have to shake that off because you're in that flow state of like, yes. It was funny how people would be doing this and then have to be like, no. And they would just say, no, give me the weekend to think about it or whatever. But one major problem solved was that everyone got asked to buy all of a sudden. And before that, I wasn't asking anyone to buy. I was just pushing the options forward and hoping they asked me for it. And that works about 20% of the time, right? Because some people want it so badly that they just ask you for it. Maybe 40% of the time. But if you're going to be a 90% converter or 90% closer, which is where you want to be, you're going to be asking people to buy. So come up with your own version of that question today. Start asking people to buy just one time. We'll get to the other stuff later. But one time, just start giving people the opportunity to become an owner of your product or service right here, right now. And watch how many more you start selling. More every Monday on the Waste No Day podcast, baby. Go download it.